In a bid to step up fodder production in the dairy sector, the Ministry of Agriculture is looking to engage farmers in partnership with the multinationals to grow volumes in farms. According to Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Willie Bett, who was speaking in a Nakuru hotel during the National Fodder Conference, called on the private sector, especially the small-scale and large-scale producers, to work together. He further urged for a multi-sectoral approach to boost fodder production. Bett called on the county government to support farmers, saying that agriculture is now fully devolved. This year's opined that the high cost of Kenyan feeds was a burden to farmers, which they in turn pass on to consumers.
It's only that I came and I found the living like it's in order.
Livestock contributes 12% of the GDP of this country. We all know that 60% of what we've used to produce a liter of milk is contributed by feeds. And looking at the theme today, repositioning the fodder value chain for sustainable livestock production.
We need to link the commercial fodder production or the entire fodder and feed production with the off-takers, and the off-takers are many. When that is done, and a contractual arrangement is facilitated, it even becomes more easier for fodder developers to do much more, because we can easily now link them with credit. Because to make it very commercial, we need to support the small-scale fodder producers with funding and credit facilities so that they can make it work even better.
Well, we want to get more insights into the agricultural sector, and let me bring in our in-house reporter, that is Philip Keitani, who covers quite a lot of matters to do with agriculture. Many thanks to have you, Keitani. Perhaps just picking off from the fodder conference, looking at the number of issues that Kenya has continued to face throughout the year. We did have the armyworms, we also had a drought, and where are we in terms of food security?
Well, Abby, indeed, as you've seen from the story, one of the biggest issues, especially if we start by looking at the dairy sector, one thing is it's for you to have a dairy cow, but the other thing is how will you feed your dairy cow? So what this program was looking at was how to help farmers from dairy regions, that is the Rift Valley, Central, and parts of Coast, and even parts of Western and Eastern Kenya that have been keeping dairy cows, but they don't have enough fodder for their produce. So what this program was trying to do was to encourage farmers from other regions that are not considered as dairy regions to grow fodder and sell it to their counterparts in the dairy regions, and okay, that is how they were trying to help to improve the dairy sector.
And looking at the big picture, Keitani, right now the rains did come through from the month of November to a bit of December, and in tandem with what you've just mentioned, that these programs are quite critical on the ground when it comes to improving productivity. And looking at estimates and figures from Tegemeo Institute, it paints a dire picture of what we lose as a country in terms of post-harvest losses. What sort of interventions should we look forward to moving onwards?
Well, talking of intervention, it's very difficult, especially now when we're talking about global warming and climate change, now that even farmers themselves can no longer even predict when it's going to rain. Like, for example, you've talked about the rains that, that came late in the year. Most of the regions, especially in the Rift Valley, at that time when the rains were coming, it was unharvesting season. So they didn't need the rain at that particular time. So also, that is why we are going to even lose more than what we had already lost to the fall armyworm. Oh, yeah. And now these farmers are complaining that with the continued rains, some of them have not even harvested. And even if they harvest, they don't have ways of drying their maize thereafter. And the process of drying maize is also expensive, and few people can afford, or few farmers can afford to dry their maize. So next year, the story might still be the same. We might still run out of the main crop, that is maize, the maize cereal. And we hope the government has put in place measures to mitigate another disaster next year.
And just before I let you go, Keitani, of course, the CAVES program came to a close just 2 days ago. And just auditing the significance of the CAVES program, which was under USAID, trying to boost value chain production, how impactful has it been in your assessment?
Well, in my own assessment, I'll say the program was very successful. Majority of the farmers that were reached, that is, at first they were targeting 500,000 farmers, but at the end of the program they were saying they've reached more than 1 million farmers. Some of these farmers were mango farmers, and mango is a seasonal crop. So what they were trying to encourage these farmers is to come up with ways of preserving these mangoes, either by drying them and doing something with them so that when the season goes, they still have stock that they can sell in terms of juice, in terms of dry mangoes. But the project, I can say, was a very good success.
Many thanks, Philip, for that update on the agricultural sector. And we definitely will continue to spotlight issues in this particular sector.